Give me a second, okay? So it was my second year on the Warped Tour. I got to run on the field at the Metrodome. We were playing in Minneapolis. I got to play a show in front of a bunch of fans, living one of the most marvelous days of my life. And then my buddy Mr. Dibbs comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, since it's Atmosphere," he was playing with Atmosphere at the time, "since it's Atmosphere's hometown, we should all go on stage, we should all stage dive, dressed as me." And I go, "Okay, fine." Mr. Dibbs is a big guy, bald guy, bandana around his face. So we all wear bald caps, bandanas around our face. We all get up on stage, the crowd's going crazy because it's hometown heroes and whatnot. They're spraying kids with squirt guns, it's hotter than hell, they're spraying people with hoses, whatever. We all get the nod to go stage dive. So 7 people in bald caps and bandanas, all stage dive at once. I jump down. See, you're not allowed to jump on the Warped Tour from the stage into the crowd. So you got to jump down from the stage, then climb up the security barriers. I know, it's a punk rock tour with insurance liability. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. So we all jump down off the stage to climb up the security barrier. Well, I jump down off the stage towards the security barrier, and I try to plant my right foot on the step of the security barrier and my left foot on the concrete, my hands on the rail. Well, the problem was the step was soaking wet with water because of the squirt guns. The concrete was soaking wet with water because of the squirt guns. The rail held fine, and my face smashed clean into it when my feet kicked out from underneath me. Just full force dive right into it. Well, I think I'm going to have a huge knot on my head, but I'm not going to go out like a sucker. I'm not going to jump down and go, "Oh, my head," and not have, crowd surfing to show for it. So I jump into the crowd. Little did I know, I had a huge gash on my forehead. I nicked that giant vein right there. And as soon as I get on top of this crowd of 17-year-old girls, I start shooting up blood like a Roman fountain, raining down all everywhere. I go, "Move me to the front, move me to the front." They move me in the security barrier. I look at the girl that was carrying the brunt of the weight, and she's covered in my blood like Carrie on prom night. Literally. I just go, "I'm sorry." And the security guards drag me off. First aid comes and they go, "There's nothing we can do. We can just tape you up and send you to the hospital." "Well, you got to go to the hospital." So they tape me up, and I walk across the street to the hospital because the hospital is across the street from the Metrodome. I'm there with a suicide girl and another rapper from New Hampshire and my manager, who's a big burly tattooed Texan. We're all hanging out in the waiting room covered in tattoos, and I'm covered in blood. They finally let me in. They Novocaine me up. They clean up the wound. They're all ready to stitch me up. I'm taking pictures with my cell phone camera and sending it off to my mom. Like, "Look, Mom, no job." And then the doctor, he puts his fingers in the wound, and he feels a little bump on my skull. And he rushes me off to the CT scanner. And I get CT scanned, and apparently I fractured my skull. So they rushed me off to the OR, and they hooked me up full of IVs, and they put the gas mask on me, and they're telling me to count back from 100. And as I'm counting back from 100, I hear all the nurses and the anesthesiologists just giggling off to the side. And I look over there, and they're looking at a computer, and they're giggling. And apparently someone had told them my stage name, and they had looked me up on MySpace. And so the last thing that I heard before I go under was my song Ocean Walk. And then I go under. And then I wake up with a titanium plate, 2 metal screws, and 35 stitches in my head. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. Don't. So there you have it. My father drove trains. My mother took pictures. My grandfathers all fought in every world war. I'm a white rapper named Master Nautilus. I hope you like my story.